This is the story of a day the sky turned against the heartland of America. It began like any other, calm and deceptively ordinary. In a small town in Kansas, people went about their routines, mowing lawns, opening cafes, driving kids to school. But beneath the sunny blue sky, something was stirring, something unseen yet unstoppable. Clouds began to twist, subtle at first, curling like smoke rising from a distant fire. By mid-morning, the wind was sharper, carrying whispers of a storm the town had never imagined. No one knew what awaited them, a force of nature that could wipe everything from existence in moments. And what happened next would leave every resident questioning the fragility of life. Before we dive deeper into this terrifying story, take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment below. Imagine yourself in this town watching the clouds spiral into chaos. What would you do? Don't just watch, become part of this experience. The streets were quiet now, the earlier hum of daily life replaced by a strange, unexpected silence. Windows rattled as if trembling in fear. A mother held her child tighter, sensing something wrong in the way the air moved. Farther down the road, a farmer paused mid-plow, squinting at the horizon. There it was, a dark, twisting funnel forming in the distance. The tornado. At first it seemed small, almost harmless, but it grew rapidly, as though the sky itself were drawing its power from the earth below. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the swirling debris in horrifying clarity. Pieces of roofs, broken branches, and dust danced in the air like wild spirits, threatening to tear everything apart. "What is that?" someone whispered on the street. Voices rose, panic simmering beneath their tones. Families rushed indoors, cars stalled on the highways, engines silent against the overwhelming force of nature. The town's mayor, coordinating emergency warnings, could only shout into crackling radio. Sirens wailed, their sound almost drowned by the roar of the approaching storm. People had seen storms before, yes, but nothing like this. Even the most seasoned residents knew instinctively that this tornado wasn't ordinary. Every passing second, it devoured the horizon, moving with frightening speed, leaving a trail of broken trees and flattened fields. And then came the first real destruction. Roofs lifted like paper, trucks toppled, power lines snapped, sparks flying into the wind. Fear gripped the town in a tangible, suffocating hold. But amidst the terror, humans revealed their resilience. Neighbors ran to help neighbors, strangers called out to strangers, and families clung together in basements and hallways. Could anyone survive such a force? Could anyone imagine life after witnessing it? As the tornado advanced, a young boy, no older than 12, peered through a cracked window. He saw his world being shredded in real time. His dog whimpered beside him, tail tucked, ears back. His mother whispered prayers, clinging to the hope that somehow they would all be spared. But the tornado was indifferent to prayers, to fear, to hope. It tore through barns, cars, and roads, consuming everything in its path. And yet, there was beauty in the terror, a wild, almost hypnotic dance of nature's raw power, terrifying in its perfection. Do you think you could stand and watch this with nothing to hold on to? Could you find the courage to survive when the air itself seemed alive with anger? Comment below and tell me what you would do if your entire town vanished before your eyes. Hours passed, or maybe minutes, time distorted under the oppressive storm. Emergency crews risked everything to rescue those trapped under debris, carrying families to shelters. The tornado continued its relentless march across the plains, flattening fields, ripping trees from their roots, hurling cars like toys across asphalt. People huddled, some silent, some crying, some shouting. Each heartbeat a desperate plea for survival, and then a glimmer of hope. The storm began to move away from the densest parts of the town. Not all were saved, not all buildings survived, but pockets of life remained. Families reunited, neighbors embraced, children clinging to parents with tears streaking their faces. Yet even as the sky calmed, questions lingered. How could nature possess such raw, unimaginable strength? Could humanity ever prepare for forces like this? And most importantly, what would happen if another storm of equal or greater magnitude returned tomorrow? Meanwhile, across the state, news crews reported the tornado's devastation. Satellite images showed the scale of destruction, fields flattened, towns scarred, roads impassable. Scientists analyzed the storm, explaining in clinical terms the extraordinary wind speeds and atmospheric conditions that had made it possible. But the residents of that town, Those who had stared into the eye of the storm understood a truth no science could capture. Life was fragile, fleeting, and miraculous in its survival. What would you do if the sky turned black and the ground shook beneath your feet? Could you act fast enough to protect your family? Could you find calm in the chaos? These are the questions that linger long after the wind dies down, haunting the memory of those who face the impossible. The next day, as the sun rose over flattened plains, the town began the arduous task of rebuilding. Families returned to their homes, assessing damage, salvaging belongings, and comforting one another. The tornado had left its mark, not just on buildings, but on hearts, reminding everyone of the thin line between ordinary life and unimaginable disaster. And yet, in this devastation, a lesson emerged, a testament to human resilience and the power of community. Imagine walking through those streets, seeing rooftops torn from houses, cars overturned, and trees uprooted. But also seeing neighbors helping each other, strangers sharing food, and children laughing again despite everything. The tornado had tested them, pushed them to the edge, and forced humanity to reveal its strength. Would you have survived? Could you have found courage in the midst of fear? Could you have helped someone else when your own life was at risk? These are the questions that keep viewers thinking long after the video ends, prompting comments, shares, and heartfelt discussions. And so the story concludes not with an end, but with reflection. Life is fragile, storms are unpredictable, yet humanity endures. Every person who faced that tornado carries a story of fear, hope, and resilience. A reminder that even in the darkest clouds, light and courage can emerge. Tell me, if this were your town, would you have survived the tornado? Could you have helped others? Or would fear have frozen you in place? The answer lies within each of us, in how we respond when the unimaginable strikes, and in the choices we make when survival is uncertain. This script is